Good morning, everyone. It is a new week here on DSPGaming, and I'm happy to be here bright and early and ready for more. It's a good one. Today on the show, we've got a ton of game news to talk about. Again, it always seems like historically everything happens on my day off, and this week was certainly no exception. Plus, Bill's day off, talking about all kinds of updates on all of my channels. We've got a new game. We've got a big game update this week. There's a lot going on. So, see you for all this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is the 17th of May, 2024. I'm DSP, and I welcome you here to the show and a brand new week of content here on DSP Gaming, and of course on my other channels, DSP React and DSP's Throwback as well. Wow. When I say, hey, everything happens on my day off, I mean, I know sometimes it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but I swear, I don't know what's in the water or the air. It seems like no matter what day I take off, too, because some weeks I take off Thursday. In fact, most weeks I take off Thursday. But then some weeks I'll take off a random other day, and then everything happens that day instead. So I can't really explain it. I can't really describe it. All I can say is this. I'm happy to be back. I'm ready for another streaming week, and we got a lot of news to talk about today. It was stuff from all over the internet, gaming news, updates, good news, bad news. It's a good variety of stuff today. Thankfully, it's not just all doom and gloom, which I know some days here when I'm covering the news, that's what it seems like. Another studio has layoffs, another game got canceled or sucks, right? Another controversy is erupting. Today, at the very least, we do actually have some concrete good stuff to talk about as well. So that's excellent. In addition, I'll recap what I did back on Wednesday. We got some new stuff coming up this week that's exciting. In fact, I had a big premiere this morning, but I don't know how it works. So I want to talk to you guys about that because I actually don't know if any of you were actually over on DSP Throwback for the premiere of LA Noir. I don't know how it worked at all. Yeah, I just don't know. So I want to see what you guys thought, if any of you attended it. We got a new game this week in Hellblade 2. We got a big, giant update coming out on Wednesday for Street Fighter 6 with the release of Akuma and a balance patch. So there's a lot going on this week that's pretty exciting. By the end of the week, it's going to be all new game content as opposed to me just playing the same games that I've been playing all along. So it should be interesting for sure. So shall we talk? Shall we jump into it? It's going to be a loaded show today. I think we should just jump right into it. So Dabhan says he watched it and got a notification. Let's start with this, okay? So back on Wednesday, I put out a preview video of the LA Noir playthrough. For those who don't know, LA Noir is a game made by Rockstar, particularly their division Team Bondi when it existed back in 2011. This is a really unique playthrough because it had this motion capture stuff that had never been used before in games. And so the characters looked photorealistic to who the actors actually were. And a very cool murder mystery, style game where you're investigating crimes as a detective in Old Town LA. Loved it. Loved that game and that playthrough. But back then, it was always uncertain if you played a game from Rockstar if you were going to get into trouble or not. So I actually had uploaded that playthrough to a separate channel at the time called Red Dead DSP, just in case, because I didn't want to risk this channel, DSP Gaming, getting shut down with false copyright strikes or anything like that. So, it was great. The playthrough did well. I didn't make any money on it, but I was happy just to play it for you guys at the time. So what ended up happening was, over the years, sadly, people messed with my content. Someone actually hacked that channel and started broadcasting illegal, football/soccer games on it, and it got shut down by YouTube, rightfully. I lost all the content on it, but the good news is I archived all of those videos on hard drives. And here we are many, many years later, I finally decided to restore these missing playthroughs for posterity purposes. And LA Noir is one of the biggest, most notable ones ever that's been missing. So I decided to do it. And we started with a preview video on Wednesday over on the DSP Throwback channel that was basically the release day unboxing of the game. Plus, the initial startup of the game when I was trying to boot it and start the playthrough, and it failed because PSN was down, and I was like, oh, let's see what the PSN content is in the game, and the whole thing crapped out, including my entire channel, or my entire console, excuse me, froze. I had to restart the whole thing. So, it was a good preview. People seem to enjoy it as a lead-in, and then this morning, at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I actually set up the first hour-long part of the playthrough as a premiere over on DSP Throwback. Now, how do premieres work? I honestly don't know. I think what happens is the video plays on the channel as a live stream, but then after that, it becomes an on-demand video just like any other video. I really have no idea. I've never done it before. I just wanted to see how it would work. So I know for a fact people watched it because people were commenting. There's like 3 or 4 comments that were left on the video that I approved as it was premiering. But then after the premiere ended, I looked at it and it said basically 0 views, like no views had been added to the video. And I was like, so people sat there and watched it and commented on it, but it doesn't count. I don't get it. And I'm curious, were any of you there for the premiere this morning? And know how these premieres work? Like, were you able to watch it normally? Did it look like a live stream or did it just look like an on-demand video? Was there comments? Like, I don't even understand how it works because I never did it before. I guess this has been a feature of YouTube for many years, and it very well may be that when I'm going to set up a new video that's like a hype video for a playthrough or something outside of a live stream, maybe I just wanted like a throwback video, I'll set it up as a premiere so everyone can kind of sit there and watch it together. Like, I have some ideas for other playthroughs later this year. Maybe the Undead Nightmare playthrough of Red Dead 1. We could set it up as like a premiere in October. Maybe I'm going to have like a Christmas-themed video at the end of the year from old Christmas footage that's been lost, and we could do it as like a premiere in December. So, is it? So, live stream chat and comments. So, there it was. All that was there, huh? Phaser 11 says they run live. It runs until it's over. It goes on demand later, not directly after. It could be a couple of hours to go on demand, but you can watch it right now. I checked. You can literally go watch it right now. And people are watching it because now the views are starting to go up. It was weird. Like I said, the hour that the video was premiering, no videos seemed to count towards the video, or no views seemed to count towards the video. But as soon as the premiere ended, it then just shows as, oh, it's on demand now, and now views are counting. So I don't get it. I just kind of scratch my head like I don't understand it. But all I'm hoping is that you guys enjoyed it. All right, so it's the first hour. It's essentially the intro to the game when Cole Phelps is, just becoming a cop. And he's on the beat, his patrol beats and stuff like that. And it's his lead into becoming a detective. So it's entertaining. It's funny. I actually watched it and really enjoyed that first hour. I hope you'll give it a look. It is upscaled. There are some issues with the 60 frames per second upscaling, meaning it looks fun. It does. It looks fun. However, whenever I'm driving around the city at night, it doesn't look good. It's a little blurry. I'll admit there's a motion blur that's added. It's called ghosting. And that's annoying. Outside of that, the ghosting doesn't seem to even take place during the day. It's not even visible. It's only on night driving scenes. But it's a better trade-off than the old playthroughs looked awful, So anyway, it should be interesting to see, does it add up? Is it something that you guys like? I hope you will check it out and enjoy it. I think it's going to be a great playthrough. I do. So thank you guys for checking out the playthrough if you have already. And if you haven't, I hope you'll give it a look. It's at youtube.com/@DSP or I just posted up the link directly to the video on my social media, x.com/@theycallmedSP. I know it's x.com now. It really sounds stupid because there's no more Twitter. They got rid of it. It's just x.com now. I posted up links here on this channel and also on the Throwback channel. So give it a look. Let me know what you think. And now that is the new playthrough that will be balanced with Fallout 3 moving forward on the channel. We have finished both Red Dead Redemption 1 and, thankfully, Final Fantasy 13. That playthrough took way too long. It was all of January, all of February, all of March, all of April, and half of May to get through these 60-some parts of Final Fantasy 13. I'm so happy it's done because the game sucks. I'm just sorry. Now that the game is over, I can fully tell you guys, that thing is terrible. It is so bad. The plot is so endlessly bad. The graphics are good, the music is good, and the gameplay elements of the combat are pretty interesting because they're different from other Final Fantasy games. But dude, the story is the key element, and the story of that game is so poorly written that it's just one of the worst Final Fantasies ever. It's so sad. You really, and I'm glad that now the playthrough is up for posterity purposes, and if you want to watch it, you can watch it in its entirety on DSP Throwback. It's definitely an oddity of the time because it was one of the first lengthy JRPG playthroughs I ever did on YouTube. But man, that game doesn't hold a candle to other games. It's just not good, man. I can't believe it. To this day. And I remember when it was out, I said the same thing as I was playing it. I was saying that, and now I watch back the playthrough. It took me 4 fucking months to get through it. I'm like, this game is stinks. Man, they screwed that story up. Okay. So now it's time for us to get into stuff over here. Enough about the throwback channel. Okay. Cool. So today or Wednesday was a fun day of variety. We had a really awesome stream of Another Crab's Treasure where we got to the end game of the game, and I was really entertained because I thought we were going to beat it on Wednesday, but no, the game keeps going and adding more content. First, you're in this undersea area that's really dark, meaning you're supposed to be at like the deep bottom of the sea where normally you wouldn't be and you don't know about. Then you end up in this giant area with huge monstrous crabs that are hitting you with eye lasers and stuff, and that was wild. And then we got past there, and guess what? The area we're in now, it's called the Old Ocean. It's essentially Farum Azula from Elden Ring. Like, it's literally designed to look like, play like, and be an homage to Farum Azula. And I was like, holy crap. Like, this game is so interesting and creative at what they've done to try to show, hey, look, it's Souls, but it's not. You know, it's our own spin. It's our creative undersea take. It's really well done. I'm really enjoying the game, and it looks like I'll definitely beat it tomorrow. But, yeah, it was really cool to get there. I'm like, wow, this is neat. I can't wait to see the end of the game and what they've got in store for me. So, good stuff so far in the game. I hope you'll check it out. And then Wednesday night, we did kind of a weird night where I didn't have much to do. So we did the Star Wars Battlefront collection for about an hour and a half. And the weird part about it is, I think I finally figured out how to play it, even though it's bad and wonky. And I'm getting, like, insane kills. I'm blowing people up with mines and grenades. I'm shooting the rocket launcher and getting dead-on kills. So no exaggeration, playing it, I was getting, like, 20, 30 kills a match. And I was, like, top, 5 of my team every match. I was like, that's ridiculous. The game is so broken, but I'm actually getting good at it. But the thing is, it's fun every once in a while, but you get a little bit, how can I say? It's fun, but then you get a little tired. Like, by the end of the night, I actually was getting bored, and I could tell the chat was because they were not paying attention anymore. So instead, I mixed it up, and I said, let's just chill. So we hung out for about a half an hour and just did a little bit of talking and Q&A or whatever. And it was still a good time. It was a fun time, and I hope that you'll check that out, too. It was a little half-an-hour Q&A video from Wednesday night. Yesterday was my day off, so ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to do a little segment we do every week called Phil's Day Off, where I explain what went down on my day off. Well, to be honest with you, not a lot. In fact, I was relieved because unlike last week, I had to put in air conditioners, and that was like hours of work to do. This week, I didn't have to do that. All I had to do was the basic stuff that I do on my day off that's like chores. So, like, grocery shopping, pet store. I had to pick up something from a store. I had to do a few odds and ends, all right? But it actually didn't take that long. So I actually got home a little bit on the earlier side. And my wife and I were able to spend some time. She decided the next game she wants to play is Fallout 3. She finished Fallout 4 playing at the Brotherhood ending about a week ago. And then she hasn't played anything for like a week. And now she's like, you know what? I want to go back to Fallout 3 because when I played it a year and a half, 2 years ago, whenever she played it, because I can't remember, basically she didn't get all the content at all. Like, she basically did the main story and then it ended it, and she didn't realize that what she was doing was the main story. Like, she didn't know the game was going to end like that. She just kept doing missions for the Brotherhood, and the next thing you know, it's the Liberty Prime mission at Project Purity, and the game's over. And you're like, oh, shit. So she didn't do almost all the side content of the game. Like, the only side content I think she even did was Tenpenny Tower. So she never went to Little Lamplight. She never went to the town to the far north with the tree. She didn't do anything. Like, nothing. Like, no side content. And there's a lot of side content in that game that's meaningful and fun that she missed out on. So this time around, what she's going to do is play it to a certain point in the story and then stop and then just explore the map and see what she can find, quest-wise and the like. And I think that's the better way to go about it in that game because there is so much cool content. So we'll see how it goes. She started playing and, she started having a good time. She immediately remembered, oh yeah, VATS is super good in this game. It's not a first-person shooter. It's meant to be an RPG first. So it's not just running around shooting 7,000 enemies. You actually have to use RPG elements, and they're very important. So immediately she liked that. Of course, the graphics are very outdated. It's a 2008 game now, but she was having a good time with that. So I watched her do some of that. For dinner, we ordered some pizza from a restaurant. It was really good pizza. It's, high-end pizza. We didn't get like fast food pizza or anything like that. And honestly, that was just about it. Like, we also started watching some random shows on Max. I think she has a few shows lined up, like food shows, home renovation shows. We actually started watching this show where I guess they're building crazy tree houses. And it was fun to see. They're building a ginormous tree house in a tree. It's like, how the hell did they do that? Right? So it's fun to watch. It's interesting, just chill stuff. So pretty laid back day. And it was just funny because I'm just relaxing, during the day. I had a good relaxing day yesterday. And I just, every once in a while, I check my phone. And I keep checking it. It's like, there's more game news. There's more game news. There's more news. I was like, why is it all on Thursday? Like, literally every effing story is always on my day off. I just don't understand how it always aligns like that. It blows my mind that everything happens when I'm not here. It never fails. So we're going to get to the news segment in just a moment. And you're going to see, like, an absolutely ridiculous amount of game news to cover today. Which is fine. I mean, I am happy that I'll have a lot to talk about on this show. But at the same time, it would have been nice to space some of this out, So there you go. All right, we might as well just scoot right over. It's time for our favorite segment, everybody. We might as well go right into DSP news, because we have so many news topics to cover today that I want to jump into it so that way we don't forget some or get backlogged, okay? So, allow me to open up this insane amount of stuff we have to cover today. Okay. So, first off, this is an interesting story. Xbox/Microsoft has announced a new controller called the Proteus. This controller is a gamepad designed specifically with Xbox gamers who have disabilities. It's crazy looking. Like, if you see this thing, you'd be like, what? So, it's basically like two... See, I don't have anything like that. You ever seen a Rubik's Cube? But they're smaller. It's like rounded cubes, okay? Now, on each side of the cube, there's all these different things you can put. You could put buttons. You could put a thumbstick. You could put all different kinds of things on each side, and the cubes can connect with these connectors, all right? And you hold it in one hand, and you can hold it like a bunch of them are connected like this, like a long thing, and you could just hold it like that and play. Or you could put it down on a tabletop, and you could have it be like 4 of these modules with buttons or thumbs. Like, basically, however you need it to be configured, the thing is crazy configurable. And I was looking at like, wow, that is really neat. And I would hope that this is something that in the future can not only be modified, for people with disabilities, but I think this could be a controller that could actually revolutionize just controlling anything. Like, I was looking at it, I was like, I bet you could modify that thing to do other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that you're in a factory and you need to move machinery around, or you're even, hell, fucking flying a plane and shit. You could use that. I was looking at it like that thing is very adaptable for tons of different uses. So if you want to look it up, it's called the Proteus, okay? And it's going to be $299. Yes, these accessibility controllers are just incredibly expensive. Remember, Microsoft had another one that they launched a couple years ago, and that one also was like $200-$300, and you had to buy accessories for it. Well, this one, it's $299. If you pre-order it now, you can get it for $255 for a limited time before it starts going full amount. So, look it up. It's cool looking. I think it's really neat. And like I said, the thing is, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you could do a lot of things with this. This doesn't have to be video games, right? This could be a lot of uses, and that then it would justify the cost. If you could use this to do other things rather than just play a video game, you could probably justify the price tag for it. So, anyway, give it a look. I think it's pretty neat. Like, imagine, I would think you could probably go on your PC, and this could be a way to do things on your PC. If you're disabled, you could probably use it as a mouse. You could click around. You could do things, right? I think that would work well. Okay. So, there we go. Now, here's a follow-up to a story that we talked about the other day. The other day, we talked about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And there was a lot of confusion because people started reporting a story that in order to play Assassin's Creed Shadows, you would need to always be online. That it's one of those games that even though it technically is an offline single-player game, that it always required online connectivity. Well, Ubisoft came out with a public statement saying, as online connection will be needed to install the game. Oh, an online connection is needed to install the game, but then you can play the entire journey offline and explore Japan without any online connection. So it's unclear where the confusion came from. It seemed like there was misinformation on the internet. The other thing is that, of course, as we all know, I think we knew this was going to happen. When they premiered the game on Wednesday, and they said, oh, the two protagonists, well, one is a Japanese woman shinobi, which everyone said there really weren't any female shinobis. There were some female fighters who were meant for like espionage, like they were spies, but mostly they were like pretending to be maids or people in a household. They weren't actually shinobi. There's no such thing as like a female shinobi. And then, of course, on the other side, the other protagonist is Yasuke, who apparently was a black samurai, right? So then immediately, of course, the internet says, well, actually, there were no black samurai. That's a lie. Yasuke was like this over-glorified kind of manservant who was a novelty. He actually came to Japan along with some guy from Italy. And then Nobunaga, who was in charge of Japan at the time, kind of like, oh, wow, that's cool. I want him to join my group. So he kind of recruited him and made him his sword bearer. So technically, was he a combatant? Yes, he was, but he was never considered like a real samurai. He didn't own the lands. He didn't do the things he didn't have all the honors that a samurai would have, right? He did serve Nobunaga for about 15, 16 months or something like that. But basically, it's funny because everyone wants to argue about this, okay? Some people are like, well, as you can see, this is clear leftist propaganda by Ubisoft. And others are like, what are you talking about? It's just characters. And it's funny because I think I look at both sides and I think they're both stupid. Like, I'll give you some examples here, okay? So there was this guy, he posts up and he goes, it's just characters in a video game. I don't know why people are so freaking out. But anyway, yeah, you shouldn't be upset about Yasuke because he really was a real black samurai. To which people would counter and be like, well, no, he wasn't. Here's the actual historical facts about Yasuke. And then he would counter, yeah, but it's just a video game. It's like, wait, what? So you on one side, you're saying it doesn't matter, it's just a video game. But on the other side, you're saying, oh, but it is historically accurate, so you can't be upset that the protagonist is black in a Japanese game. It's weird. It's like he's playing both sides of the argument, right? To say, well, no matter what, I'm right, right? On the other side of that, you've got people who are so upset about this, and it's like, hi, hello, are you aware that Ubisoft has been doing this for like a decade? Like, don't you remember Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where there were actual women in the gangs in London committing heinous crimes and shooting? It's like, that was so historically inaccurate, but they've been doing this forever. Like, this isn't a first. This isn't like, oh my God, you know, this is just par for the course for Ubisoft. Like, we know this. So if you have issue with that, then that's fine. Don't play the game. But why are we making a stink about it? You know, this would be like saying, man, I'm so upset that Taylor Swift keeps making songs about her exes and her failed relationships. And it's like, yeah, but she's been doing that for what? How many years? How could you possibly still have issue with that? Just say she sucks, you don't like her, and move on. Why are we making a big stink about it, right? But I think what it is everyone just wants to be talking about it to try to get clickbait. And I hate to say it, I just feel like that's what it is. Everyone on each side, it has to be one side is so offended that there's a female protagonist and a black protagonist because that's not representative of the time period, and the Japanese people should be so upset that this is happening. Well, newsflash, the Japanese people don't play Assassin's Creed games. They don't. In Japan, they don't sell. Japanese people usually buy a lot of Japanese-centric games, like JRPGs and shit like that. That's what sells in Japan, not Assassin's Creed. They probably don't give two shits about this game. They probably also didn't give two shits about Ghost of Tsushima or any of that Western design stuff, right? They just don't. So that's kind of a stupid thing to argue about. You know what I mean? At the same time, on the other side, it's hilarious to see people try to defend the fact that Ubisoft has done this in Assassin's Creed for like a decade now, because it's just not defensible. It's silly. They claim their game's historical. It's a historical game. But then they change history over and over again to try to push a narrative down your throat that didn't exist. Like, forget what history actually was. This is what we wish it was. So here's a game that's historical. No, it's not. You've created a realm of grand fantasy, and that's fine. Just say that. Don't say it's a historical game. It's literally not, because you change history every single iteration of Assassin's Creed. So don't claim that it's historical. Just say, hey, it's a fantasy. It's a what if scenario. If they had said that, this is a what if scenario about feudal Japan. Imagine if this happened. Then no one could say shit. But they literally say in the description of the game, it's a historical game. Fuck you. There's nothing historical about it. You're such a liar. Anyway, another thing, it has now officially been confirmed that Assassin's Creed Shadows will be on Ubisoft Plus. So it's funny because they said it's $70 plus tax, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's expensive. We all agree that's a lot of money. And, oh, but you could just get Ubisoft Plus for a month and pay like $15, and then you get the game and you just play it and you're done. Oh, well, I guess that's what I'm doing then, right? There is absolutely zero chance that I would be spending $70 on this game. No way. Now, if the game ends up being insanely long and it takes me longer than a month, then I guess I'll keep Ubisoft Plus for one more month. So it'll be $30 instead of $70 plus tax, right? So anyway, there you go. That's what I recommend everyone do, by the way. Okay, continuing on, because we have a lot of news to get through. And by the way, welcome back, Jade. It's good to have you here today. We have a lot to get through, so let's continue. Activision has announced the opening of a new studio called Elsewhere Entertainment to develop new narrative-based and genre-defining AAA franchise. The studio will be based out of Warsaw, Poland. And here's their press release. The talented team at Elsewhere Entertainment consists of a collection of storytelling experts whose credits included The Last of Us, Uncharted, The Witcher, Cyberpunk, Destiny, Tom Clancy's The Division, and Far Cry. Okay? So, you might say, well, this is good news. It's the opening of a new studio. And wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Activision is going to make a narrative-based, genre-defining AAA franchise? When was the last time you could even think about Activision and say they made something that was a AAA-level narrative-based game? What are they known for? Call of Duty. On the Blizzard side, they're known for like World of Warcraft, Diablo. Nothing that's like narrative-based, really, you know? So it's weird. They're like, oh, this is interesting. They're actually going to make a narrative-based game. Now, what does that even mean? Will it be an RPG? Like what, right? What will it be? We don't know yet. In my opinion, good news. It sounds like they got employees from, you know, all the different walks of gaming and tried to put them together to make a good game. Here's the question, though, right? So let me get this straight. Microsoft is downscaling and laying tons of people off and closing studios, but Activision, which is owned by Microsoft, is opening studios. So goodbye to Tango Gameworks and their hit game Hi-Fi Rush. They're all unemployed, but hello to a brand new group of people who are going to make something for Activision. You see what I mean? Like, that's weird. So what's really going on over there? Does anyone actually know? And again, I hate to say it, I don't think anyone actually knows, and that's the problem. You know, people like Phil Spencer and Matt Booty are supposed to be in charge of the company, but they're just letting things fly because Activision is technically still a different division. Oh, well, we were hiring people. We're hiring a giant studio's worth of people. What about the people you just had to lay off because you claimed you had to do that to make the company profitable? Then how the fuck is the other half of your company hiring people? Does it make any logical sense? No. Right? So it's like, I don't know. It's just not explicable. It's not. It's like, again, who's at the helm of the ship running it and where is it going? Right? It's just crazy. Eternal Napalm says, what's sick is that Tango Gameworks actually was profitable, just not profitable enough for Microsoft. They made $10 million in profits, but that's just too low for them. Yeah, I mean, right. Now, you heard what they said. This Elsewhere studio is going to be a ginormous AAA narrative-based games. They want to make a revolutionary game. They probably want to make a game that makes like 100, 200, 400, $500 million, right? That's what they're looking for. They can't, 10 million, it's not enough. Right? You're right. Okay, continuing on. This one, I mean, here's what I'm going to do. I'm literally just going to read this word for word. I want to see everyone's reaction to this in the chat. All right, so I would like your honest reactions to this announcement that just came out yesterday. You ready? Bear with me. Jason Universe has been announced. A new era of the Friday the 13th franchise. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh. That will span a wide range of platforms, from entertainment, games, immersive experiences, merchandise, and more, to be announced throughout the year of 2024. One of the platforms will be Fortnite. The Jason Universe. Universe. if any, you know, I feel like there's a big, gaping, vacuous hole in pop culture. There's something that we need, all right, that needs to really mix things up and change things. I just feel like there needs to be a universe out there based around a movie series from the 1980s, of which there was, it was, first of all, the movie series itself was a copycat of Halloween. It wasn't even original, all right? They copied Halloween, all right? Had endless sequels, reboots, rehashes, had games, right? I feel like for some reason we need to have an entire universe of content based around a slasher killer who goes around a camp on a lake and kills teenagers. I just feel like that would be the right way to go. Let's invest as much time and money as we can and make a universe of content around it. That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? And it's not even like it's not even that old. If you remember, oops, they just did the Reboot trilogy. They you know what I'm saying? Like, well, not the Reboot trilogy. They just did the Reboot movies a few years ago, and they didn't do that well. If you remember, what was it? Who was it? Was it Rob Zombie that did them? And they did all right. Remember, it was supposed to be like, it was just weird because they have not really gone full-fledged into it. They've done it with others. Like, they just did the Halloween Reboot trilogy, bringing back Laurie Strode character and all of that. And even that didn't do that well, right? So it's like, I understand. Okay, Jason Voorhees hasn't been around for a while in cinematic form, but the last time that they did, it didn't do that well, and they kind of just ditched plans to keep going. So why would we now be deciding to make a ginormous universe around the Jason Voorhees character? I'm very confused. Where was the demand for this? I mean, the only thing that I could think about is their Friday the 13th game, right? It came out, people liked it, and they were upset because they lost the rights to the IP, if you remember. Like, there's a big dispute about it. So they basically weren't allowed to keep developing the game, and then they went on and did the other one. What did they do? Was it Texas Chainsaw or something else? Like, they did another one. So, yeah, it's like, where was their demand to resurrect the Friday the 13th franchise and turn it into a content universe? Who makes these decisions? Like, some eccentric rich man is sitting around and he's like, I have nothing to do. I think I'm going to reach into this hat and pull out a random idea that I will throw lots of money at, but it won't be an original idea because that's too hard. What I need to do is just pull something out of the nostalgic past. So he probably went in there, right? And the first thing he pulled out was probably like strawberry shortcake. He's like, ah, shit. Now that'll never work in the modern climate. People will say it's too sexist or something. They threw that away, right? And he went down there and he pulled out like Fraggle Rock. He's like, ah, shit. Well, even that's too serious for today's gotta get rid of it. I can't do that. And he reached real deep down in there and he pulled out fucking Jason Voorhees. He's like, oh, yes, this is it. We're going to build a universe around this. Not just a movie, not just a game, an entire universe of content. So let's sink about $1 billion into this idea. And the first piece of content must be Fortnite. We must get Jason into Fortnite just like everything else, right? So anyway, I don't know. I'm confused. Listen, I like the Friday the 13th movies. Don't get me wrong. I think some of them are really campy, like Jason Takes Manhattan, where he's in Manhattan for like 10 minutes of the movie. But they did a Fraggle Rock reboot? What? They rebooted Fraggle Rock? I didn't even know that. I watched the original. I love the original from the 80s. I grew up watching it. I didn't know they ever rebooted. Anyway, so yeah, it's just like this is the next thing, right? Like we didn't learn from the Halloween reboot that basically this isn't working. If you remember, the Halloween reboot started okay and then flopped. So now let's bring back Friday the 13th, the Jason universe, the universe. I can't get over that. In what world is there a desire for a universe of Jason content? What could they possibly even make a universe of Jason content? What does that even mean? He's a slasher killer at a lake killing kids. Yes, there's been spin-offs of the story, but nothing too crazy. I mean, the most crazy one was probably Freddy versus Jason, or maybe you could say Jason X in space, but that obviously wasn't canon or whatever. It was just a stupid movie. So, like, what universe can you make out of that? Are there going to be more than one Jason? Are we going to have a series of Jasons now? Are we going to actually go with the plot of that shitty one, Jason Goes to Hell, where Jason became a parasite and can infect anyone? So now we have an army of infected Jasons taking over the planet. Like, can you even believe this? The Jason universe. I can't get over it. It sounds so fucking stupid. The Jason universe. We just have nothing else to do. As humanity, this is what we have to work on now. And again, I like Friday the 13th as an 80s slasher series. I don't like the idea of it as a 2024 content universe. It sounds really stupid. I just don't understand why we need to have universes for everything. We have to have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC Cinematic Universe. Then we have to, the Star Wars Cinematic Universe. And then we have to have, everything has to be a universe now. It can't just be like a standalone cool thing anymore. Right? Why? The Fraggle Rock reboot won Oscars? When the hell was there a Fraggle Rock reboot? I didn't know there was a Fraggle Rock reboot. I was probably too old for it. But I love Fraggle Rock. I can't believe I didn't know there was a reboot. It won Oscars. Holy shit. Anyway. So, if you're excited for Jason coming back, Jason Universe content, it'll be announced over the course of this year. For me, I mean, I gotta groan and be like, what are you talking about? Right? Like, weird stuff happening. Okay, before we get to the two big pieces of news, we have two other smaller scale news stories. That's right. Remember they tried the dark horror universe? It was trying to do, like, it was rebooting all the classic movie monsters from Universal, and that flopped. Now Godzilla and King Kong have their own big monsters cinematic universe, like a kaiju universe, right? That exists now. So what else? What's next? I don't know. I think maybe the Smurfs cinematic universe would go real well. Like, where you could have crossovers like Smurfs and then what are those Trolls characters that are already popular, and they could cross over with like the Keebler elves, right? And little gnomes and shit. Like, we could have a crazy little creatures crossover that spans like 10 different franchises. Now that's what we're talking about. That's where the money is, right? Anyway. Let's continue, shall we? The Smurfverse featuring Jason. Now, wait a minute. Now I think you just came up with a really good... The Smurfs, but Jason is killing them. He's hunting them down and killing them one by one. Okay. Anyway, I think we need to move on from this. PS Plus, Extra, and Premium lineups for May, which is weird that they just announced this now when it's May 17th, or I guess they announced this like yesterday. So if you have PS Plus Extra, first of all, whoever still has these, who even has these at this point, right? Like PS Plus Extra and Premium were announced 2-3 years ago. And when they first were announced, everyone was like, oh, so it's like Game Pass. And then everyone got it and they were like, oh, this is nothing like Game Pass. It's actually shit, right? Well, here's the amazing games you will get if you're part of this program this month. If you're an Extra member, you get access to Red Dead Redemption 2, Deceive Inc., The Sims 4 City Living, Crime Boss Rockay City, The Settlers' New Allies, Stranded Alien Dawn, Cat Quest 1 and 2, the Lego Movie 2 video game, and Watch Dogs 1. Wow. I've really been waiting for a service that if I subscribed for about $10 to $15 a month, I could get access to those specific great games. There was totally no way I could have accessed those games before. And I'm very happy that finally this is available to me. Okay? And then, if you want to go the extra mile, if you're a real Sony pony and you go for the PS Plus Premium for the month, you can also get access to the following amazing games. Are you ready? 2 Extreme, G Police, and the piece de resistance of the Sony lineup for the month of May, Worms Pinball. So, if you got money to burn, if that money is burning a hole in your pocket, and you have absolutely nothing else to spend it on, because let's face it, the Jason universe isn't live yet. There's nothing that you can spend money on there yet. You have to wait. Definitely get these premium services and get access to those great games that you totally couldn't have played before in any other capacity. What are they doing over at Sony with this program? Well, I can't believe it even exists. At this point, it's kind of like, so we have to put some games out to justify that the program still exists? What do we do? And someone's like, hold on, I got a random number generator. Let's just put all the games in our catalog in a list, number them, and I'll just press this button. Okay, it says 647. What game is that? Oh, Worms Pinball. Oh, cool. All right, what's the next one? All right. The fuck are you talking about? Who cares about that shit? Who would pay for that? Yikes. All right. We have one more sad story, and then we're going to go into some positive stories, okay? The sad story is that, sadly, Phoenix Labs, the game developer who is mostly known for the games Dauntless and Fae Farm, has announced a large group of layoffs. Ugh. More layoffs in the gaming industry. Come on. But yeah, this story is still continuing. It's not ending anytime soon. So basically what they're saying is, Phoenix Labs had several new projects in development over a wide range of styles and games based on the success of their original games Dauntless and Fae Farm. However, they then decided right in the middle of developing these games to restructure their company. In fact, here it is. We have to restructure the company to pave a path for a strong future. We are reorganizing Phoenix Labs to focus on the best-in-class live service titles Dauntless and Fae Farm and serving their communities. This unfortunately means canceling work on all of the projects at our studio, which impacts many of our colleagues immediately. We're giving notices to everyone whose roles are affected. The restructure has not come easily and truly has been the last resort to ensure Phoenix Labs can survive and thrive in the long term. It's impossible to put into words how deeply we value every talented individual who has contributed their hard work and passion to every project at our studio. We're doing all that we can to help our departing team members in this interim period and encourage any studios looking for incredible talent to speak with the one-of-a-kind people that have been a part of Phoenix Labs' journey. So first of all, it's just like the next one, right? It's the next thing going on. Why are all these companies laying people off, right? And, I mean, did I miss something? Was there, like, in the last 5 to 10 years, was there, like, a big explosion of, like, positive news in gaming saying, hey, so by the way, gaming's going to be exponentially growing and taking off in the next few years, so just overinvest all of your money and resources, overexpand, overdevelop, make sure that you have enough in the pipeline, because people are going to want video games so much that we're not going to have enough to give them. So just go crazy, right? Like, I don't remember that happening. You know, the only thing I could think of that's close was COVID. During 2020, and then it carried somewhat into 2021, everyone was stuck at home, right? And we're not just talking people who normally would be at home gaming, correct? I think what it was everyone was stuck at home. A lot of things were in lockdown worldwide. I couldn't even go out for a fucking year. There was nothing to do. Besides grocery shopping, everything was closed. And so, during that time frame, I think what happened was a lot of these companies invested tons of money into expansion and everything. You know what I'm saying? Thinking, oh yeah, gaming will now, because everyone's home and everyone's understanding how good gaming is, it's going to continue to grow, extrapolate, and explode. Let's be honest. Let's take a look at some games. Animal Crossing right? What was it called? The Animal Crossing that came out that year? I can't even remember. I played it on Switch. I can't even remember what it was called. New Horizons or something like that. Like, that game broke records, right? Absolutely broke records. For what? Right? Did it break any new ground? Did it do anything revolutionary? No, just a bunch of people who normally wouldn't be home were stuck at home. I mean, middle-aged moms were playing Animal Crossing because there was nothing to do, you know? So because of this, gaming exploded for about a year, 2 years. But then what happened was COVID not ended, but basically turned into a normal sickness. It wasn't a worldwide pandemic anymore. We built up an immunity to it. Not everyone was getting it anymore. People who got it weren't dying anymore. And so everything went back to normal. And people said, oh, there's a real world out there with life again. And I've been cooped up for 2 years fucking playing Animal Crossing, right? I want to go out and have a life again. And so they did. They went out. They went to concerts. They went to events. They went vacationing. They started shopping. And everything went back to normal. Some will say for good. Some will say for the worse. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that one because let me tell you, when I used to be able to go to a store and everyone stayed 6 fucking feet away from me and there were no lines and everything was fine, it was pretty good. Instead of fuck away, wear a mask. I don't have to have your stinky fucking breath around me. I'm not getting sick. All right, I didn't even get sick for like 2 years. I wasn't sick at all. I didn't get a cold because those fuckers stayed away from me. So in some capacity, it was kind of nice. At the same time, I mean, yeah, losing a lot of your freedoms, a lot of things closing down during that time really sucked ass. So I guess maybe that's what happened is the industry of gaming itself grossly miscalculated and said, let's mass hire, let's mass expand, because now we made so much money in 2020 that now that's the future of gaming. And it was a false hope. Like, once everything got back to normal life, people said, gaming, that's something I do on my phone and I fuck around for a few hours a day when I'm waiting to do something else in real life. That's not something that I sit down and I invest countless hours doing. And so because of that, there you go, right? Like, seriously, I think that's what happened. So here we are, years later, and the wave of prosperity for gaming has run out. And in the last 6 to 8 months, we have seen pretty much non-stop layoffs in the gaming sector because of these miscalculations by the people in charge. I can easily compare this. I remember when I worked in the helicopter industry. During the 2000s, the helicopter industry was in a big boom, okay? So the company I worked for was making record profits. They started rewarding us and giving us bonuses and expanding. Literally just expecting that would happen forever. No backup plan, no contingency plan, no thought. Just ride the wave of good shit, right? And what ended up happening was there was a big financial crisis at the end of the 2000s. Do you remember when the banking industry needed to be bailed out and everything in the United States? So when that happened, no companies could get loans or have money anymore. And a lot of companies said, we don't want to operate helicopters anymore. It's too expensive. So they stopped, and our company lost insane amounts of money. And so what happened? Oh, layoffs, restructuring. Well, wait a minute. You had made all that money for all those years. Why didn't you use that money as a way that if the industry ever dipped, that you could then keep operating and you didn't have to lose half your workforce? But they're not smart enough for that. It's just like everything that we learned during COVID. The people who were in charge of these companies, who we trust to be smart people, who we think know better and are really planning for our best interests, actually don't know shit. They're just a bunch of fucking morons who are just winging it like everybody else. And 9 times out of 10, the only reason that they get success is because they're lucky, not because they're smart. And then when shit happens, they just fucking fuck up like everybody else. They just, oh my God, the sky is falling. Oh shit, didn't see that coming. So it sounds like that's what happened in the game industry. You had a bunch of bigwig morons on these fucking, boardroom tables making these ginormous decisions. Invest here, expand here, invest here. But sir, this is a boom just because of COVID. No, it will continue. The industry will continue to grow. Let's overinvest. And then what happens? Ton of flop games, underperforming games. The profit you were making on your popular games plummet over time. And then what can you do? Now, who suffers? Is it the people who made those stupid decisions? No, it's the people who were working for them. They're the ones who lose their jobs. So it sucks. It's just another sad story. Let's get into better stories, all right? We're still going. I told you, this is the news show. We have so much news to cover today, guys. You have no idea. So we have 3 big announcements from Take-Two Games. The first announcement is that it is official. Grand Theft Auto 5. Excuse me. I misspoke. Grand Theft Auto 6, the new one, yes, will officially be releasing in the fall of 2025. They have officially put it on all their media and everything. Fall of 2025 is what they're aiming for. So we still got about another year to year and a half to wait. All right. Is the wait going to be worth it? No. There's no way you could tell me that there's been a video game that the last iteration came out in 2013. This one will be coming out 12 years later, and that 12-year wait will be worth it. All right. I hope it'll be good, but I can't imagine this game living up to the hype. 12 years between iterations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I hope for the best. I hope it's great, but I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I guess we'll have to see. But there you go. Mark your calendars. Fall 2025, GTA 6. Now, continuing on with news about Take-Two, they had their their earnings announcement, and basically here's what they've said. Get this. So as of March 2024, here are the biggest things that Take-Two has ever done. First of all, the GTA series itself has sold 420 million copies of games combined. 425 million GTA sales lifetime. That's a lot. And keep in mind, that's initial sales. That's not counting microtransactions from GTA Online. That's game sales. Okay? GTA 5 itself has accounted for 200 million of those sales. So one game out of a franchise has sold about half of the sales of the franchise, right? That is pretty insane. What's their next highest selling series ever? What would you think? Take-Two. Under GTA, what's the next game in Take-Two? Well, I actually was surprised. It's actually Red Dead Redemption. The Red Dead Redemption series has sold 89 million copies. Red Dead Redemption 2 sold nearly 64 million copies, meaning only about 25 million copies of Red Dead 1 were ever sold. So the sequel sold more than twice as much as the first one. I'll be honest, that's a little disheartening because I think the first one's better. I really do. I hope that people will eventually play the first one who played the second one, but they are very different games, that's for sure. So then what's the third most selling Take-Two franchise? Well, this one's kind of funny because this one's kind of a cheat. It's Borderlands. You might say, Borderlands? Yeah, they're owned by Take-Two now, remember? They just got bought out. So, yeah, Borderlands, now owned by Take-Two, has sold around 86 million copies over the years, with Borderlands 2 selling 28 million copies, and Borderlands 3 selling 20 million copies. Wait a minute. Do the math here. So if Borderlands 2 sold 28 million, Borderlands 3 sold less, 20 million, meaning that the series is actually in a declining state. That's only 48 million out of 86. That means that 38 million copies were Borderlands 1. That means that franchise has been on a downward slope ever since it launched. Borderlands 1 was the biggest, 2 declined, and 3 declined even more. Isn't that what I said, too? Like, when those games were coming out, I was like, I just don't feel the hype around it. When I played Borderlands 3, I was like, it just feels like another game that's just not a big deal anymore. While Borderlands 1 was, like, huge, and everyone was all over it, hyping it, I didn't feel that. And apparently that's the actual feeling of the industry and gamers themselves, because the series is in a sharp decline. There you go. And then some other series, notable series that have sold for 2K. The NBA 2K series has sold a whopping 149 million copies, but it's kind of weird and a skewed number because NBA 2K has a new game every year. So since you have an installed annual buyer base, in reality, if you think about it, probably means they don't sell that much every year. They probably sell like 10 million copies a year, maybe 12 million. So it's not a big seller. It's just that they sell every year. So it actually is consistent income for them. You see? Civilization has sold nearly 71 million copies. That's great for that kind of game. I mean, that's a huge number for a simulation style game like that. And then the next one is actually BioShock, which sold 43 million. For a franchise of only 3 games that haven't been prominent in a decade, that's pretty good numbers, right? That's pretty darn good. So there you go. Take-Two by far, by leaning into GTA, seem to be doing the right thing. That is the franchise that has made them the most. Although, I guess it's kind of weird then that we don't have any idea about Red Dead. Red Dead is their second most popular series, right? So I wonder what's going to happen, right? What? Crema de Coco says, is it me or does your mic sound like shit? Does my mic sound like shit today, guys? My mic looks like it's working properly. My setup, what do you guys think? I think Crema de Coco might have a loose wire over there. I don't know. Okay. The next piece of information, again from 2K. 2K Games is planning on revealing the next iteration of one of their biggest and most beloved franchises ever at the Summer Game Fest on Friday, June 7th. Okay? So that's all they're saying. They're literally not going to give away anything else. So what does that mean? Well, let's think about it. It ain't GTA, because we already know about GTA, right? Could it be Red Dead? Maybe it is Red Dead. But a lot of people on the internet are speculating. They think it's going to be BioShock, because we have heard behind the scenes rumblings that they have been making a new BioShock game for quite some time now, and we have seen absolutely nothing of it at all. So a lot of people are actually thinking it's going to be new BioShock. I guess we'll see. Some people think Bully 2. I would listen, if it was Bully 2, I'd be like, dude, sweet. I'd be so happy, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be a new BioShock. That's what I'm feeling. I'm going to tend to agree with the people on the internet on this one. I think that's what probably is going to happen. Okay. And then the last news story for today. And then finally we've gotten through it. My God. Okay. We're ready? Are we ready? Did I say Take-Two or 2K? 2K, but Take-Two is owned by 2K. No, excuse me. 2K is owned by Take-Two. Boy, this is confusing. There's Take-Two games, and they own Rockstar, 2K, the Borderlands. They own all these franchises. But Take-Two is the parent company. 2K is below it. And so that's why it said 2K. I think that means it's going to be BioShock. You see, I don't think it's going to be anything under Rockstar. That would make sense. But now even I'm confused. Because that's true. It has to be under 2K. It's not Take-Two. It's 2K. Or is it? Forget it. I can't even pay attention. I'm losing my mind. It's too. Why do they have to fucking sound so similar? Why'd they do that? All right. Last one, guys. The Wall Street Journal this morning is now reporting that Microsoft plans to include the upcoming latest new installment of the Call of Duty franchise as part of Game Pass Ultimate this fall. Here's word for word from the Wall Street Journal article. Microsoft plans a major shakeup of its video game sales strategy by releasing the coming installment of Call of Duty to its subscription service instead of the long-time lucrative approach of only selling it a la carte. What does this mean? First of all, it sounds to me like we're all going to be saving a lot of money this year. If you want to play Assassin's Creed Shadows, fuck $70, get Ubisoft Plus for a month or two. Hey, you want to play the new Call of Duty? Well, fuck that, right? Don't spend $70 on that. Just get Game Pass Ultimate. Why wouldn't you, right? Especially for someone like me, so I already have Game Pass Ultimate. I'm already benefiting from a bunch of games. Right now I'm playing Fallout 4 as part of the package, correct? And I get a lot of games on there. I just recently played Little Kitty Big City. I'm going to be playing Hellblade 2 later this week, which we're going to get to, by the way, because I want to do the schedule and we didn't get to it yet. We're going to do it briefly after this news segment. But yeah, basically, there's a lot of content on Game Pass that I use. I'm not going to pay anything extra, and I'm just going to get Call of Duty. Sweet. What a lot of people are saying is that, unlike previous years, what I think they're trying to do this year is they want to try to get more people to play Call of Duty outside of the core fan base. What's crazy about that is the core fan base is giant. Call of Duty is regularly the best-selling game of the year. So why it's that big of a deal to get it to appeal to an even bigger fan base, I don't know. But we have seen dwindling numbers. For example, last year, Call of Duty was not the best-selling game. It was Hogwarts Legacy. So maybe after having that title taken from them, they have decided they need to do something to create more appeal. So maybe by making this game appealing to more people, by having it Game Pass, maybe more people will play it. And then maybe, I mean, the thing is, though, and here's where I feel the slippery slope is on this one, okay? If they put Call of Duty on Game Pass, they can't then take it off Game Pass. I'm going to be honest. Once you get something for free, you can't then try to charge for it and expect that people are going to care. Case in point, on X, which used to be Twitter, there was a verified account status. Now, it used to mean something. It used to be you went through this arduous ID identification process to prove you were a real person with a presence on the internet who would be highly impersonable. Like, people would want to impersonate you for malicious reasons. And because you went through that, you would then get a big verified check mark on your account, and it would mean something. You are someone of note on Twitter to be recognized and noted, right? What ended up happening was Elon Musk buys Twitter, rebrands it X, and says, well, anyone can have that now. Just pay for it. Wait, what? But it's free. You have to go through a process to qualify for it, but it's supposed to be free, right? If you charge for it, now you've taken away the value of what it originally was. So if you give away Call of Duty on Game Pass, you can't then a year or two later decide, we've decided now you have to pay for it again. It's not going to be on Game Pass this year. You all know what will happen? They're going to lose sales. There's going to be people who are like, no, I already had it on Game Pass. I refuse to pay $70 plus tax for this thing. I already had it, and you take it away. Well, fuck you. I'm not going to spend it. And they're going to lose sales, in my opinion. So, for me, I'm not exactly sure that this strategy will work for them, especially if this is the most selling game of the year many years, and they're making $70 a pop on it, and now they've decided they don't want to do that, especially at a time when they're laying everyone off, claiming that they have to do that to cut corners to make the company not be bleeding money. Then how do you decide to make a game that's your biggest moneymaker not make you money? Again, I mean, I feel like every news story, literally every news story, goes back to who is driving these companies, who's steering the ship, and what the hell is their thought process. Logically, I as a gamer, am happy that Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass. This is a value to me. This is good. I don't have to spend the money. I already am a Game Pass subscriber, and now I'm going to get this game, and I don't have to spend additional money. That makes me happy. At the same time, from a business perspective, I don't think I've seen a company do a worse job of just pulling out a shotgun, aiming down, and blowing off their own foot. What are they doing? I don't understand this at all. What is happening right now? I'm very confused of how they think this is going to benefit their company. Do they not need that profit right now? If they're laying off people left and right in their company, do they not need those profits to keep the company operating? Or is this going to be another, in 6 to 8 months, oops, we goofed, now we got to lay off another 7 studios that we just bought, right? I mean, this is dumb in my opinion. Maybe, Greasy says, maybe they know something the consumer doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. Noct says, by putting it on Game Pass, they're expecting to get more additional subscriptions than they would individual sales. Do you really believe that's going to happen? Really? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe this will pan out for them. But I don't know. To me, it's like, here's the consistent, dependable thing we have that we've always needed as our cash cow. Let's fuck with it. Even though we just messed up so badly, we had to lay off a ton of people in closed studios. Let's fuck with our consistent income too. Right? Like, what? This would be the equivalent of, I lost all my money on doing on-demand YouTube videos for some reason. So now I've decided to change my streams as well. Even though that's the other consistent income I get. I think I'll just change those all up too, just to fuck with it and see what happens. Like, what? What are you, stupid? I mean, I don't know, man. That's nuts to me. I don't even know what to say. But that's the news for today. That was most of the show. What I briefly want to do is a schedule update so you guys know what to expect in the next several days. And then we're going to get to shout-outs, okay? So, here we go. Today, more Fallout 4. And I'm excited for this because it's going to be a nice, chill stream here on DSPGaming. We're going to continue on with some of the quests we were doing, but at the same time, I do think if we can today, I want to explore some of the new quests that were added as a part of Fallout 4 during the next-gen update last month. Things that we've ignored up to this point because I've been focusing on the main story and leveling up my character. I think I want to check those out. So we'll see how the stream goes, but I hope after this podcast ends, you will stick around and hang out with me. I think it'll be a good time, nice chill vibes, and good gameplay and fun. Okay? Tonight on the late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it's Friday Night Fights. But ladies and gentlemen, it's a stress-free Friday Night Fights. Why? Because I hit Master with Zangief. I don't have to grind with him anymore. The last month has been torturous trying to get my Zangief to Master level, but we did it at the hardest possible time to do it. A year into the meta of the game, I got it done. And now we can sit back and relax and just do more casual play with the characters that I like, and we don't have to stress. And that's what I want to do. I think tonight, I definitely want to do some Dalsim, maybe some Blanca, maybe some Lily, but I'm not picking Zangief tonight. For God's sakes, I'm giving him a rest, and we're just going to have fun tonight. A silly late night, Friday Night Fights, Street Fighter, no stressful grinding to master. Okay? Good stuff. Tomorrow, the day stream will be the conclusion of Another Crab's Treasure. We're going to see how it all ends in the old ocean. Okay? And tomorrow night, we're going to do some more Helldivers 2. After having played it last week, I want to give it another go. We're actually at a point where maybe I'll be earning some stuff for the game and getting some new stuff unlocked, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes tomorrow night. Well, of course, Sunday is React Day, where we're going to have my clip show, DSP versus the Internet on DSP Reacts, followed by the premiere, well, not the premiere, but the return of Dark Souls 1. That is right. Dark Souls 1 now returns as the Retro React stream on Sunday night. Now, whether or not we keep it and we keep rolling with that game will depend directly on how it goes. If it goes very well and we get good attendance and engagement and support, then maybe we'll keep doing Dark Souls 1 for now. If not, then maybe we'll mix it up and we'll do something different every week. But that should be fun over on the Throwback channel to get back to Dark Souls 1. I've actually wanted to ever since we did the first stream of it back in February. And then Monday will probably be more Fallout 4. And Monday night, I'll probably do a casual stream of Street Fighter 6 again. Tuesday is the premiere of Hellblade 2. I'll be playing it all day long. I know it's not a long game, but hey, why not just play it all day and see how good it really is? So I'll be doing it both streams. And then on Wednesday, it's the premiere of Akuma and Street Fighter 6 and the big balance patch, and I'll be playing that all day long. So all day Tuesday is Hellblade 2, and all day Wednesday is Street Fighter 6, Akuma, and or balance patch coverage. Okay? And that's my streaming week. Also keep in mind, the poll to determine which indie games we will be playing during my Indies Marathon is now live. You can vote by typing !Indies in the chat, or that poll is on the community tab of this channel from just a couple of nights ago. And please vote. That vote will be going for a little bit over a week. The marathon is coming up on Saturday, May 25th. Right now, one of the games we're absolutely playing is called Noita, Noita. It got more nominations than any other game. So that one is a shoo-in. We're playing that no matter what. But all the other ones are up for voting. So please vote. And I'm curious what you guys will vote for. And, you know, what you're more interested in over other games. Currently, the games in the running are as follows. Lethal Company, Hades 2, Inscription, Pizza Tower, and Stardew Valley. Okay? So please vote, and we'll see how it goes. Right now, we have over 500 votes in climbing. So thank you for the initial voting, and excited to see the results of that. Okay. I think I've covered everything. That was a lot. So now let's get to shoutouts, shall we? First of all, Nathan Smith gifted 5 memberships to the community this morning. Thank you so much, Nathan, for stopping by and supporting. Congratulations to Nemesis T-Type, Adam Theory, Maddie, Art, and Brendan Loberg. Be sure to thank Nathan if you haven't already. And Cracker Jacks became a member this morning. Thank you, Cracker Jacks. So 6 memberships already to start. That's a good start. Now, let's head over to the tip side of things and see how we're doing, because we do have several tips here to take a look at. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to start the day, I received a $50 tip from Waffens. Thank you, Waffens. And again, I just want to emphasize, Waffens has been around now the last week, tipping a lot. I appreciate that. I certainly hope these are real. But again, it's kind of weird. The reason you have to understand I react like this is very simple. Sadly, I have so many people on the internet who mess with me and troll with me. And the fact that Waffens, who honestly, we didn't even know who this was until like a week ago, has come by this last week and done a significant amount of tipping and supporting. It's very appreciated, but it is suspect too. So I hope that Waffens understands this is not something personal. This is just me being like skeptical, because how do you know that it's real when it's someone who's a brand new person coming by being so generous? And specifically, there's been troll activity around tips and chargebacks recently, right? So all I'm going to say to Waffens is thank you. Again, I give you the benefit of the doubt. I really appreciate that. I hope it's real. That's a great way to start the day. Thank you so much. Let's play a nice animation for you. And here's me in a diaper, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. And let's get that up on the leaderboard. Cool. And for the record, Waffens is chatting in the chat. Waffens has become a member. Waffens has done other contribution methods as well. So it's not like, oh, he's just tipping constantly. No, he's done other things. So everything would lend me to believe they're real. I know everyone's skeptical just like me, but I would say we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Seems to be a positive contributor right now. And that's very nice. Thank you, Waffens. Whatever the hell Waffens even means. I don't even know. Okay. Okay. I received a $1 tip. Why do I think Bethesda haven't brought out a new Elder Scrolls yet? It would be the second most hyped game after GTA6. I mean, do you want my honest take? I don't think that they have anything. I think that that studio, just like the developer horror stories we're now hearing now that Starfield is out, and a lot of people who worked on Starfield actually left the studio, they outright said the studio is so poorly ran. It's become so convoluted over there that even to just get something simple done, like the story they said was, I need a chair, right? I need a chair for a room. So you design the specific chair for this story element. You then have to pass it along to an art department, which then has to get sign off from like 2 different manager departments. And then you have to go through this approval process. Then there's stages of development of the chair. Like it could take you upwards of 2 to 3 months to get a chair designed for your game. What the fuck? That's how convoluted the studios become. They overgrew to the point where now they're so big that they can't get anything done in any kind of a reasonable amount of time for a game developer. So imagine now they're going to try to make Elder Scrolls. And can you imagine with the scope of the game or whatever, how long? It's probably going to take them another 20 years. They just don't know what they're doing. Again, no one's helming the ship. Why do you think Starfield came out so underwhelming, right? No one was actually directing it in any real reasonable direction of what a gamer would want. That's my take anyway. Okay, I received another $1.50 tip. GTA 5 has done limited Game Pass runs in the past. The game is still selling. If Call of Duty is as big as they think it is, then folks will still buy it. There you go. Well, that's an interesting take, and maybe you're right. Maybe Call of Duty is such a ginormous thing, and especially because you got to realize that there may be people who are not Game Pass subscribers, and they play Call of Duty every year, and they just want to buy it so they own it. That way, when things come out, or expansions come out, new maps come out, they just get them, and they don't have to worry about, oh, I have to re-up my Game Pass subscription every month. If you think about it this way, if you're only getting Game Pass for Call of Duty, it makes more sense to buy the game. Game Pass is what, $15 to $20 a month? So within 4 months, you've already paid more than the game would have cost, right? But for someone like me, who I'm already benefiting from Game Pass, getting lots of content and games out of it, and then on top of that, I'm also going to get Call of Duty that I don't have to spend more money on, it benefits someone like me. So I guess it's situational. What if all you do is play Call of Duty? Well, then, yeah, you probably don't even need Game Pass, right? I received another $1.50 tip. This person is very skeptical about you guys and what you nominated for the Indies Marathon. Are you ready? Listen to this. I don't know why folks have picked Lethal Company for your poll. It's not a game you can play solo and have fun. The fun in that game is fucking around with friends and hearing them over comms like Phasmophobia communication. It's a major part of it. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I have nothing. I didn't do it. I didn't nominate the game. I'm not voting. Again, this is what happens when you put the power in the hands of the viewers. Is they're gonna do what they want to do. You know, similar situation if you remember. For Rageathon, people just kept nominating Street Fighter V. And literally every time people did that, I says, but you guys understand I'm not going to rage. It's not that I rage at the game. I don't like it. It's boring. And every time they did that, I would play Street Fighter V in a Rageathon, and I would go on a win streak kicking everyone's ass, not rage, and then the segment would end, and people would be like, wow, that sucked. And I'd be like, yeah, that's your fault. Why did you nominate it? It doesn't cause me rage. I just don't like the game. Right? So, I agree with you. I think what might happen, if this is an online-only game, and it's going to be, it's all about voice communication, which I can't do, then what's going to happen is I'm going to boot it up. I'm going to play for what, 15, 20 minutes trying to fuck around with it, not understand what's going on, and probably just quit out, and that's it. Like, it'll be the same as Phasmophobia, which, hey, people want to see it. They want to see what they want to see, right? I'm not going to deny them, but if people don't understand at this point what kind of a gamer I am after all this time, I don't even know what else to say. I'm not one of these fucking viral multiplayer streamers that just jumps on with other people and fucks around. I make different kinds of content than most people. So, can't really make people understand if they don't get it by now. I guess they're just, I don't know, they're slow or something. I don't know what else to say. You know what kind of content I make. I'm not going to be using a mic. I'm not going to be doing a team of people online. Maybe they just did it on purpose because they think it won't turn out well, which doesn't matter. That's why there's so many games in the poll. I am playing this Noita game. And we got 5 other games in the poll. So we don't even have time for 6 games, right? We don't. So I don't even know why people would think that it's a big deal to put a game in there if you think it's going to fail. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's continue. I received a $5 tip from the mysterious stranger. Guitar riff plays. The funny part is, I don't know what the guitar riff sounds like, because I never used the mysterious stranger perk in Fallout. So I don't actually know what it's supposed to sound like, but thank you, mysterious stranger. I appreciate that. Okay. Cool. Back on the YouTube side of stuff. We've got Spider Dijon, who has re-upped his membership for 15 months. Thank you, Spider Dijon. We've got Lawo. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but he became a member this morning, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for that, Lawo. Pete James did 2 separate super chats. Thank you to Pete James for those. I appreciate that. And then Cal, what on earth? How do I say this name? Cal Scytharic did a super chat. Sorry, I probably butchered your name. Phil, I'm from the UK. I've been watching you since 2010. Play whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. Let Phil be Phil. Okay, well, there you go. Thank you very much. Cal. I'm just going to say your name is Cal because there's no way I'm writing that giant name on my leaderboard and butchering it. Thank you to Cal for the super chat. Well, I actually did not expect this. I actually finished everything I wanted to talk about on the show, and we're on time. I didn't run long today, which is remarkable. I thought for sure. There's how you spell his name, by the way. If you want to know how to spell his name, there it is. Good luck. I received another $1 tip from the Dan Man. He says, I'm currently doing a fast, and it sucks. Have you ever tried fasting before? Well, let me put it this way. I've never done a formal fast, okay? When I was younger, in my early days of YouTube, and I started being a YouTuber rather than someone who was, doing a normal office job or whatever, about that first year that I was doing YouTube, I had a really, really weird schedule, all right? So basically, I'd wake up in the morning, and I would not have a breakfast. Instead, I would have this little, nutrient shot. It was supposed to have a bunch of vitamins and things that you needed to start your day. So I would just take the nutrient shot and drink a bunch of water, okay? Then I would start recording, and I would record gameplay over the course of the game, usually into the afternoon and even the early evening. You're talking, some days, probably like 5, 6 straight hours of gameplay recorded. I would queue up that gameplay to upload. As it was uploading, I would eat. Now, what would I eat? Depends. Some days I would go to Subway and buy 2 footlongs and eat like a whole footlong and save the other one for a night snack or for another day. Some days I would go and get shitty fast food, but some days I would try to get healthier stuff like grilled chicken sandwiches or turkey burgers or veggie burgers as opposed to red meat and fried foods. I would try to get some substitutes for that. It all depended on the day and what I felt like, all right? But essentially, I barely cooked at all. During those first couple of years that I was doing YouTube as a job, I barely ever cooked anything because I was just a bachelor. I didn't really know how to cook well, so I didn't really bother with it. But in retrospect, thinking about the other life that I was doing, which basically is after I recorded and ate that meal, I would go back and record more, right? So I would record like 6 hours, get that uploading, go eat, go back, record another like 3-4 hours a day. So some days I was recording 10 plus hours of gameplay, all right, which was nuts. Then as all of that gameplay would upload to the channel overnight, I would literally go into a drinking frenzy because, like I said, I was kind of an alcoholic. I was depressed. And so I would just sit there drinking like rum and coke and shit like that and get shit-faced doing various things. Sometimes grinding. Like, remember, there were games that I would grind in, such as Demon Souls or an RPG, right? Final Fantasy 13 was actually one of them that I was grinding overnight. And then I would come back and all of a sudden people were like, what the fuck? You're like, 15 hours extra. Yeah, I grinded for 15 hours over the last week, came back, and now here I am to play the game again, right? So basically I would be up drinking all night. And then what I would do in the middle of the night is that I would eat, which I shouldn't do. But that's what I mean. Like, I have more Subway. Eat a half a Subway sandwich in the middle of the night. Go make a fried egg sandwich in the middle of the night. Bad stuff. You shouldn't be doing that. But that's what I was doing. So my lifestyle was weird. It was like sleep, don't eat, have a little shot of nutrients, don't eat all day. Then finally late, when it was like dinner time, have one big power-loaded meal, then record and drink into the night, and then have a snack in the middle of the night. All right? Now, thankfully, I'm over a decade removed from this lifestyle. That lifestyle was atrociously bad, okay? But, like, that's what I did. And no lie, I lost weight doing that. Like, when I got laid off from my office job and I started doing that for 1 or 2 years, I legit lost weight. Because, I mean, that's a fucking awful lifestyle to have. I'm sure I wasn't really retaining calories or anything like that. Thankfully, I don't do that anymore. Now I have I wake up in the morning, I actually have a breakfast with a coffee, I play, and then I have one big meal, and then I have my night stream, and then after the night stream, I have another, like, snack before I go to bed. So it's basically like 3 meals. It's a little different. I do, like, breakfast, dinner, lunch, rather than breakfast, lunch, dinner. But that's kind of how I do it. And that's my lifestyle now, and it's much better. As you can see, I look better. I'm healthier. I get way more sleep now because I don't fucking stay up all night drinking like an idiot. Much better. So there you go. Dark Souls Master just did a $2 super chat and says, are there any Switch games that you're excited to play? Right now, not that I can even think of. I couldn't even think of any besides Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake, which I want to play. But I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to work right now. Between me playing what I'm already playing, and then Hellblade 2, the Street Fighter 6 update, possibility of multiverses, and now people seem to see me want to play Hades. Like, people are like, play Hades 2, it's out. And people are voting right now on the Indies Marathon for the 25th, and it looks like Hades 2 is going to make it, in which case I'm going to own the game in early access. So I'll probably end up playing Hades 2, So if that's the case, then I doubt that I'm going to be playing Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door anytime soon, just being honest. So I want to play it, but outside of that, no, can you even tell me the next major Switch game that's coming out that I'd be interested in, right? Nintendo, much like everyone, in June, there's going to be an event from Nintendo, Xbox, probably Sony. They haven't announced it yet, but it seems likely. And, of course, we got Summer Game Fest. What's going to happen is all of those companies are going to be showing all their information off about their upcoming new game. At that point, we'll learn about some stuff. Maybe we'll have some new Switch games in the rotation. But for now, I'm not really aware of much. I'm not really stressing too much about it either. Okay? Okay. I received a $25 tip from Gatsukatsu. Thank you so much, Gatsukatsu, for a very generous tip. Wow, thank you. Let's get an animation. Let's see what Gatsu has to say today. Game over. Love that. Anyway, Gatsu says, funny how great of a deal Game Pass is for the consumer. It's almost absurd. No wonder there's so many layoffs occurring. Anyway, I'm stoked for Fallout today. P.S. Oh, he says he sent me some email. Oh, yes. Gatsu, just so you know, I saw the emails you sent me. I haven't responded. I'm getting a lot of emails recently. A lot. And I can't respond to them all. But I have seen your emails. And I thank you for communicating with me. I appreciate that. I apologize I didn't respond personally because I just haven't had time or forgot. But I did see your email messages. Yes, I did. Thank you. So thank you for the $25 tip this morning. Thank you, guys. The early support. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Okay, and by the way, it is official. I forgot to announce this. As of Wednesday night, some of you should be getting diamond crowns in the chat. That is correct. Finally, people have hit their 3-year anniversaries as members here on DSPGaming. I think I saw Hank earlier showed it off. I know for a fact 672 had his. Okay. I think it's 35 to 40 different people who are going to hit that milestone this month. And then actually next month, there should be like another 30 or 40. So you're going to see some people hitting their diamond crowns very, very soon. Okay. Jade says, what did I miss? P.S. I did watch Street Fighter 6. I saw you got Geef to Master. I'm so happy. Me too. Jade, did you see the moment that I hit it? Did you see my face? The relief? I was like, oh, yes. The stress is gone because I did it. It was so effing relieving to finally hit it. I was like, yes, now we can relax. Because I'm so happy tonight. Tonight is going to be so much more relaxing in Street Fighter. Like I said, I'll probably do some Dalsim. Maybe I'll do some Blanca or Lily. It's not, who cares if I win or lose? I've already done everything that I can do. The game's going to change on Wednesday next week with that patch coming out. So there's no reason to freak out. You know what I'm saying? Everyone just relax. We're going to have a good relaxing night tonight of fighting games. I'm so relieved that we don't have to have more stressful nights right now. It's going to be fun. So totally different vibe and atmosphere for tonight's Street Fighter stream. Game Boy, how is it? How you doing, man? Good to see you here today. Yeah, 3 years. That's right. It's been 3 years since I ditched Twitch. That's right. I ditched Twitch. They treated me like dirt. I had enough of their crap. The straw that broke the camel's back was when they actually suspended my stream mid-stream and claimed that I said something racist. I responded, I did not. You are completely stupid, and you better fix this now. They reviewed it and said, oh, yeah, you never did. Sorry about that. And then they just suspended me. And I said, you know what? I'm never going back. There's no point. I'm not going to be on a business that literally will just suspend me before they review something. Like, they actually suspended my channel without evidence that I did anything wrong. Then when they reviewed it, said, oh, you didn't do anything wrong, and removed it. And they actually apologized, too, in their message. Like, oh, we're so sorry we did that. No, there's no apologies for that. This is a fucking business that I operate to make a life for myself and my family. This is how I support my family. And you're going to take away my ability to work because you're unprofessional? No, you're not. I'm gone. And I left, and I never went back. So that is that. I've had enough of that crap. So I'm not going back. All right. See you later, Cracker Jacks. Game Boy thinks the 2K announcement's going to be Borderlands again. Could be. I don't know. I'm feeling Bioshock, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's Borderlands. Jade says, what did I miss? The only thing you really missed, Jade, was we got really far in Another Crab's Treasure. We're at the end of the game, which is incredibly similar to the end of Elden Ring, actually, because it's kind of like a reference to that. Outside of that, not much. We had a silly Star Wars stream, but nothing too crazy happened on Wednesday. Ellipsian says, on the Call of Duty subject, they already implied that it would come to Game Pass during the merger. It would have looked worse if Call of Duty didn't come to Game Pass. I don't know about that. I feel like people would have bought it anyway. I don't think if they said, okay, Call of Duty is not coming to Game Pass after all, I don't think there would have been too many people who were like, well, I'm so upset that I'm not buying it this year. You got to remember that the customer base for Call of Duty is already an installed annual base. They buy it every year. They play it every year. It's its own community. They follow the streamers. They follow the tournaments. That's their thing, right? So I don't think so. I think they would have just said, oh, well, it's just normal then. And they would have just bought the game outright without issue. But, you know, would some people have been upset? Yeah, but I don't think it would have done a significant difference for them. I mean, I agree it would have been bullshit. But by the way, there is one other factor we haven't mentioned, okay? If Call of Duty hits Game Pass this year, as now Wall Street Journal is reporting, you know what's going to happen. Game Pass's price is going up. I fully believe they're going to raise the price of Game Pass $3 to $5 a month again. By next year, it'll be another $3 to $5 more expensive. And for people like me, it won't matter. It's still the value's there. But for other people, they may be more apprehensive about keeping it then. So I don't know. But I almost bet you they're going to raise it again. Dark Souls Master, glad to hear you're here for some Fallout 4 fun. All right, guys, I think, Jade, we all missed you. I'm glad to have you back today. Hope all the construction and stuff in your house went well. All right, guys. Great podcast. Wow, right? We had a lot to talk about. We covered multiple topics. We had some fun with some Q&A and back and forth. Let's end the show so we can get into our gameplay segment. I want to thank you all for being here. That was fun. And great streaming week ahead. Now, I'm happy because this week we got continuing playthroughs, a more chill vibe with Street Fighter. We've got an ending playthrough with another Crab's Treasure. We got a new game coming out with Hellblade 2. We got the Street Fighter update. This is a very exciting week of new stuff coming up. I got that feeling of, you know, that vibe of positivity and you know, fun is coming back. It's not the same old stuff we've been doing for months, which is good. And I hope that you guys are on board. I'll say thank you for watching the show, whether you were here live or you're watching, you know, on demand after the fact. And I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.